technical difficulties. What can you do? Bloody things.
Wow.
Technology's awesome when it works properly, isn't it?
It's fantastic until it doesn't work, and you've got to reboot everything, start again, start from the beginning, make it work.
Absolutely. Chaos and madness, but what do? We're here.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Finally.
We're here now. Everyone can hear everyone. Everyone can see everyone. I think we're on track.
Yeah. I should probably look up here so I can actually... Oh, why can't I see messages? What's going on there? Oh, there we go.
Got messages?
Yeah, Owen Shepard. There we go. Long time no see. Absolutely, mate. We've I've actually missed doing the shows, but obviously due to reptile shows coming up, away for work and egg season and everything, and hatchies everywhere, it's been absolutely chaotic. I know it has been here, and I assume you've been pretty much the same, Brent.
Very much the same, mate. It is absolute the maximum pressure time of the year for me and probably most other breeders too. When you've got all the hatchies out, none of them can be sold because none are feeding well enough to be gone.
Yep.
And throw in expos and throw in the freight day. Rookie error for me. I'll never do that again. Do a freight day 2 days after an expo.
No.
Wow.
So you honestly, you need, like, after a big expo like that one, you need a week to recover. Like, just, sorting out. I know it's taken me the best part of 2 weeks after the show to reshuffle, to go through, things I've got coming up to size for this future breeding season, to work out what girls I want to put in what drawers and everything. I mean, you think, you've made space for so many animals. It's a simple task, but there's honestly a much bigger thought. Well, for me anyway, there's a much bigger thought process going into, what I want to put where and for what reasons. So, things might go into tubs that are a little bit too big for them at the moment, but given another few months, and those tubs will be perfectly fine.
Yep, I certainly like to have everything settled now. Certainly by January's end, anything that's breeding, I want it where it's going to breed. I don't like to shuffle girls, especially around too close to season. So all that stuff takes time, though. It's that mad shuffle of. That's why I had to do that freight one. It was just getting rid of 6 or 8 animals, 6 or 8 tubs that I needed and can shuffle stuff around for. So 100%. Thanks to everyone. We got the freight run out on time. Everything got where it was meant to. So happy days.
That's the good thing. It's nice when you finally go, get rid of, even if it's only 2 animals. It means now I've got room to move these 2 into a bigger tub and take these out of there. And like the show was awesome. So that was good. I was able to make plenty of room, which was nice.
Yep. Before we start on the expo, a few faces, a few regulars back in. It's been a little while, so thanks everyone for dropping back in. Ryan Shepard, g'day, mate. Dennis Bolk, g'day. Charlie Deeb, as always. Yes, we're late. Sorry, mate. It was me first with a disaster, followed by Darren with a disaster. And then eventually we got our shit together.
Yep, that's it. So,
Josh Brown, evening. Alan Walker, g'day, mate. We were just talking about the expo before the show. We'll get to that topic shortly. Sunky, Mr. Tattoo Master, g'day, Christopher.
Chris, guys.
And Christopher has some news. I don't know if I'm allowed to share it here, though, but anyway, we'll move on from that. Peter Statten, g'day, mate, from the mountains.
Peter
Knox, g'day. Dave Muzz, as always, my rooster brother. Yes, mate. Darren and I should both be streaming to YouTube, I believe, and Mr. Venom Staff, as always, is coming in from YouTube. So
good to see you guys.
I think we're live. It's good to catch up with the man himself at the expos. What expos 100%. Are great for? Putting names to faces of all the little names you see up on screens.
Yeah, it was good. I reckon, to me, honestly, mate, that was actually a highlight for me at the show. Everything else aside, people that, come and drop in and say hello, to come up and introduce themselves and say, hi, how you going? Love your show. And families that come up with a few kids. I know you had the same thing, Brent. Come up saying, watch the show. The kids love it, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that was unreal. Like, to actually get people to come up, because you say to people, come up, say hello, introduce yourselves, and as we all know, I particularly talk well underwater.
No way.
So it was actually good. I love I really appreciate everybody that made the effort to come up and say hi, mention the show, and how they enjoy it and suggestions and stuff like that. It was great. What about yourself?
Yep. It was a shock, mate. I was a little bit overwhelmed, I guess, of how many people came up and said they'd been watching the shows, they've been loving the shows. It was a bit of a, oh my God moment, like I'm glad people enjoy it. It was good to see, and so many kids. That's what's the awesome part, little kids
absolutely.
rocking up, that say these are the guys that cut the eggs, like the kids love it, to see the smile on their face. They're the next generation of people in the hobby, so it's good to see them in there and loving it at a good young age.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I know there was a couple of other people that have been in the hobby for a very, very long time and came up and actually said it's great to see during the egg cutting season how we're, straight up. There's no hidden sort of things or any photographs of the best clutches or any photos of the, few animals that come out. What we did, you saw.
No
it.
Photoshop, just raw.
Just raw.
That's
if something wasn't alive in the egg, you saw it. If it was dead, there was no hidden stuff like that. So to have people,
that's real.
That
real reptile keeping.
Yeah, that I respect in the hobby. that have been around for a long time to come up and say that to me. That was quite. I really, really appreciated that acknowledgement. I guess the fact we just what you see is what you get. There's no need to bullshit.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Things happen. There's no point hiding it because it's setting a bit of a false image of what it's like behind these walls. People think it's all easy, happy days. Mate, there's terrible days. There's days I want to punch holes in racks and throw things around the room, and my wife's heard me scream and yell and carry on like an absolute pork chop at times due to reptile things. So
100%. That's the way it goes. But so I have to probably give a shout out to Cole, Al, and Troy, and all those that are involved in putting on the show. As always, it was a fantastic show. I've been, as I've probably said 1,000 times, been going to these shows since day dot, and Hawkesbury have always put on a fantastic show. So it's great to see their standards so high. So many people coming through the door. Talk. At the end of the day, if you get the chance to actually try to talk to a few of the other breeders, and they will tell you they all had good days and everything, it's a good sign of a popular show. So, well done to those guys, and look forward to it again next year. Maybe even another one later in the year. Maybe there's rumours. There's rumours. So, and obviously not far away, we've got the Illawarra show coming up as well.
Absolutely.
They also do a cracking job, Joe Payne and all the crew down there with the Illawarra Reptile Society. So, yeah, looking forward to that too.
Yeah, huge event. I don't know how the society went as far as numbers through the doors. It felt very busy as any other expo did. I think it was almost the perfect storm of COVID had locked everyone up for so long. People were desperate to be free, so anyone that wanted to be in reptile game was there. It was a crazy day for both you and me, Daz. I know for both of us, it was the best expos we've ever done. No secrets. We've never sold that many snakes in one day.
100%.
Fantastic day, and like we said, great to see people. I normally like the expos more like what you said, of catching up with some of the other breeders, talking some trash, looking at other people's animals. I got none of that done. Absolutely zero. It was open the doors and full systems go till a bit after lunch, where I had very little left to sell. The expo was too early. Hint, expo organisers. February is not the time for expos, although a huge success. Well done. The date needed 1 month back. As we've always cried. So
at least 1 month. I've always maintained, kind of April. I think the first one we did in 2007, Stimo put on, I think it was either late April or May, and it was perfect time because all the hatchies were well feeding, well established. Most of your adults at that point in time are in cooling. You're not feeding. You're not worrying about cleaning stuff. So, it's just so much easier. But it is what it is. They have the reasons, I guess. I don't know why. I don't understand why. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me whether it's that one. I mean, no different to yourself, Brent. We go to every show that's on when they're on. So
I believe they were trying to beat COVID. You've got to plan those things well ahead. So at the stage in December when the world was looking like a beautiful place, everything going to be open and free. It was a case of let's get this thing booked and done before the world goes bad again. So they kind of jumped into that date, which fair enough. You know, if you think you can get it done like last year, they got in. You know, we got one expo in last year. That was all. So
that was great. Yeah.
I guess they're trying to do the right thing. You know, they're always going to have us bloody breeders complaining about everything, regardless of whether it's perfect or not. So, I mean, Joe Payne listened like an absolute legend and went with May, which is sensational time. You know, behind me there's 200 hatchies. I had 10 stimmies and 6 carpets ready for the Penrith show. So it's fortunate that I had some, you know, yearlings and other animals and a few older het things that I was moving on to take to the expo. I know Daz had a clean out of the century with selling a couple of things off.
I had to make room, you know, as you know, the problems I've had here with things outgrowing their tubs quite rapidly. I needed to make some animals move on. So, you know, at the end of the day, those animals have served me well. They've done well. They're good breeding animals, and at an age where, you know, those people that bought them still have the opportunity to do the same. So, you know, not excessively old, and I was happy to sell them, I'd say, at a cheap price from what they're probably really worth. But the way I look at it is I've done my time with them. You know, they've given me what I've needed in terms of projects and future breeding, pairings, all that sort of stuff. And, you know, let someone else have a crack. So,
eventually you need the tubs. It's I hate selling adults. I've sold a few adults this year, and I've got to say it's the first time I've sold some quality female proven breeder stuff just because I need the space for, you know, double heads get replaced by double visuals, or it's painful. If I had endless room, they would not be anywhere.
And I think that's exactly the point. When we were talking about it, my wife was like, oh, what do you have to sell that for? What are you selling that for? I'm like, I can't keep a retirement village as much as I want to. There are certainly a few animals here that I've had and bred with for many, many years, and they'll stay. But eventually you have to draw a line somewhere. As much as you would, as you said, would love to keep everything, you just can't. Like, you've got to make room for future breeders and future stock. And, you know, it gives someone else that's into breeding an opportunity to have a go themselves or to advance their projects and stuff. So it's a win-win for everyone, I think, anyway.
Yep, we might have I think we'll have a quick look through the say hellos. Yeah. You might grab a few animals. You guys are going to, I think we've talked enough about the expo. So I think the Wollongong one, wrapping that up, will be absolutely sensational. Certainly looking forward to that. I told Sheree not to come to the Penrith one, thinking I wouldn't need that much help. So she'll be coming along to Wollongong to help. Hopefully there'll be the same crowds. It'll be a good day out. So Glenn Thomas, g'day mate. The show went well.
Do you want to add the camera, mate? Do you want to add the camera and flick it up, and I'll try and find something to show.
I'll add you, and somehow
it's just my hand there. There we go. That'll do.
That camera up while. Glenn Thomas was a notable missing from the show. There was quite a few breeders not at the show, most due to lack of available animals. The fortunate ones that don't have hangovers from the previous season. Chloe Shaw, g'day. Emma, what's up yourself, Miss Living on an Island?
I think she was just enjoying herself.
What else can you do on an island but have a drink or two?
Yeah, hopefully there's a coconut Dixon. At least.
Mr. Jaspers, as always. Justin Norman, g'day, mate. Sabby B, hello.
Sabby
was another one out at the expo. Josh Marshall, g'day. Sharon, hi guys. You've been a huge inspiration. Thank you. Darren inspires everybody with his beautiful, manly looks.
And endless talking.
Matthew, g'day. Ryan Shepherd, at least you got a decent shirt. Yeah, no Rooster shirt, mate. We're rocking some New York Yankees today. Can't wait for baseball to start again. We won't talk about football. It's pre-season. There's nothing happening of any significance. G'day Ashley, g'day Joe Boyle, Troy the Gangster. How you doing, mate? Matthew Travs, Mr. Travs. How are you, mate?
Travs.
Zaki, Sabby, g'day, Ryan. Yep. Yeah, I'll still be watching the Caramel Joy. Yep, check it every day. Still there, mate. Still there, Ryan. Fed it today, actually. Christopher Sankey. Yeah, and if you buy him a manual uniform, mate, I'll buy a manual uniform for him for sure. That would be an honour. With Brent using technology. I know, Emma, my technology illiterate. You should have seen me 10 minutes before the show trying to make this thing fly again.
It was quite funny, Emma, because I was sitting here behind what they have what's called backstage. So Brent was hosting, and I was sitting backstage, and he looked totally confused. He added the camera here, as you can see, with my snakes on it. He added that, and I'm sitting here going, he's got no idea what he's doing. And I was there. I reckon I was there for 10 minutes, and finally I missed you. I'm like, "You're right, mate. I think you're a bit lost." Like I said, he's like, "Can you hear me?" I'm like, "You need to add me to the stream first." He's like, "Oh." So I had to scroll down and add me. So yes, technical, and I'm not much better. Don't you worry. So
it's a struggle sometimes. It's a struggle. I have a good team of people normally that help me with this stuff. You know, my best mate actually, Mick, is an IT genius, so I don't have to deal with this shit. But he's not here every day, so Daniel Moyer, thanks again, Daz, for the marbled noodle at the expo.
Yeah,
still feeding strong.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it was. That was actually a good little animal. It was a bit slow to get started and just smashed in the feeds, and it was nice enough to actually shed the day Daniel picked it up. So that was great.
Nah, they're the best. They're the best.
Yeah.
Thanks to Barry, my supplier. It doesn't sound sus at all. Nothing suspect at Macca's. The things that happen in Macca's car parks.
What happens at Macca's stays at Macca's.
Big time.
Well, for me, it's the BP servo, but anyway.
Matty Travs, except how well Para dominated. I did see the end of the girls' game with Para on just a little while ago with a fantastic field goal to end it in the last 15 seconds. Daniel Moyer, my food supplier, that is. Of course it's food.
Of course it's food.
Faye, the legend, the Indonesia Queen. G'day, Faye. All right, Daz, what do you got for us, mate? It's a little look back at the season just gone.
I just grabbed the mix of things. You know, there's plenty of other stuff that still needs feeding. There's quite a few hatchies here, in case anybody through the egg cutting season hadn't noticed.
Well, do you want to talk about the tally, Mr. Whittaker, or not?
My wife does not want me to talk about the tally.
We're not talking about how many bottles you lost. We're talking about how many snakes you produced.
I'm talking about both. It was all right. It ended up being only one bottle, and myself, unlike many others, actually supplied Brent with the bottle I owed him. And
correct.
Paid a visit and paid my dues. Don't make a bet if you can't afford to pay it. So
delivered it like a legend. There are still some other people on the hunted list for not supplying their debt to me, which they will be forever blocked if they don't come through shortly.
You will pay your debt to me. I can't remember what movie that was from. But so this one is just one of the little like we often, I think I spoke about last year. We often look past, I think, or beyond the pure stuff into the mutations, which is fine. But this is actually one of my little pure albino Darwins. So they're talking about animals that I'd never sell. The parents of this is exactly a pair that I wouldn't sell. My original albino Darwin, Tobias, and his 200% girlfriends, which I've had for many, many years. And
just blondie descendants.
Yep, this is one of the kids, little boy, feeding well. So once again, always keep a few of these guys back. They're just beautiful little critters. I love them.
Nice banding.
Yeah, there's so many albinos out there, mixed blood stuff these days. It's nice to know, to have a pure line. You know what I mean? Like know the origins and know where it's come from. So, I've got a few more of the like pure ones that I've held back that'll be up to size to breed this year. So hopefully a few more available. Getting absolutely smashed with people wanting these guys, but unfortunately, sex ratios in the clutch weren't great. I ended up with only a couple of female albinos, a couple of het girls, and I think it was about, like 15 males or something or other.
Oh, wow. You can't please the odds all the time.
No. So this is one of my little this is a Port Hedland stingray from WA. So these got a little slow project I'm working on, but they're really, really, I don't know if the colours will come up, but these guys hatch really, really orange.
I was just talking to someone about those Port Hedlands yesterday, actually, young Isabella, who bought some stimmies at the expo, saying how nice those Port Hedlands are.
Yeah, so it doesn't probably quite pick up. I don't know if this extra light will help out the colours or not. But yeah, they are. They're quite nice. So I've got another girl I've held back, and this little, where's the light? Yeah, trying to get in the camera. Yeah, you probably see some of the oranges coming through up around the head and everything.
Yep.
But yeah, this one's also
beautiful
kind
contrast.
In the back, in the patterns down the back. Not that I can get it to focus. It almost gets that blonde mac look to it with the lighter colour on the inside of the markings. So
yep.
Yeah, but just a nice little pure low-cal wild type stimmy, you know. But I like them. So holding back a few of those to see how they go. And
very nice.
Here's one. Here's something I've not bred for a few years due to projects taking place. But this year, we got our trusty pure silver pepper.
Just the pure pepper.
Just the pure pepper. Pure
all MD.
Yep. You have that typical colours and little black eyes.
Very surprising how few the pure peppers have been around and available. You know, we've seen a lot of hets over the past few years, but actual visual pure peppers, few and far between.
This guy took him out, actually smashed me on there and tried to eat me.
Feeding well then?
Yeah, feeding well. Yeah, so he's smashing down food. I don't know how many you want me to do. I'm going to do a couple, and then we'll do a couple of yours if you want, because you've got a few things to chat about. But
roll out what you got.
So here's one that anybody who watched the shows might have seen. This is one of the striped Zebjag from a fluoro black and gold line, and he's looking quite nice if he puts his head down and doesn't want to eat me, because he carries on a little bit. But look at
that. No jungle temperament problem there.
No, not at all. Wink.
Friendly as. Give it a kiss.
Yeah, no, it's all right. But
it'll give you one. Get closer.
Yeah, feeding well. You'll probably nail me on the finger in a second. No, can be good. It's like, no, it's not moving enough. There we go. But yeah, so quite happy the way that is. Just want to keep a little
nice
stripes.
And clean, aren't they?
Yeah.
Super clean pattern.
Yeah, I don't want to upset him too much, because we'll just fire up and there we go. I'm just trying to get him to put his head down so he's can actually see his stripe, but he'll be nice clean. So that background colour there will go nice and yellow as he gets older, so it'll become bright yellow. So he'll be quite a stunning little critter as he gets older, or she. Look on the tub. And along those same lines, I've got the Jag version. So this is one of the Flurry Jag guys that came out, which is going to be another nice stunner animal.
From that same clutch, or the other clutch?
Just from a different clutch. So,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So this is from a real bright yellow girl, which a certain person is trying to coerce me out of at the moment and sell. She's a proven breeder girl. I'm like, well, money talks, but I don't know if I actually want to sell her or not. And they make, stuff.
There's always those.
Yeah, love the little head pattern.
That's nice. You swear that's exanthic. If you knew nothing about it, you'd think, oh yeah, nice exanthic Jag. Yeah,
and for those that don't know, the little these little Jags that actually are white, these are really high percentage jungle. These are over 97% jungle, so getting close. I mean, I know the argument that's never pure, but once you get to this kind of level, it's the closest thing you're probably going to get to a pure thing. Sort of aiming for. I'll never ever call them pure jungle Jags as such. I'll always give them a percentage ratio that goes with them so people know. But these ones that hatch white, like this guy, will turn into fluoro yellow. Quick look at the Morelia by Design page, you'll see what the parents and some of the babies I've kept from this
older stuff,
for months. Yep. And anyone that went to the show would have seen the one I held back from last year. How yellow it is at only 12 months of age. So,
beautiful.
Yeah. So is that bit of fun stuff? What about you, Brent? I got some more here to show later. I got the more genetic renewary stuff as well.
Keep them going, mate. Just do all yours, and then I'll do mine, so we don't have to swap around cameras, and I have to do technology things and disaster it.
All right. Well, yeah, we go back to ants reason. So these guys were the first time I bred these little guys, so I was happy to actually get a couple of these out. And they're just powering along these little marbles. It looks like there's one tarball there, but these guys are going great guns. So Daniel Moyno, you got one as well. This is one of the ones that's eating straight away. Yeah, he's beautiful.
That looks like a good size already for a children's.
Yeah, these guys are one of the first clutches out. And they all, when I say all, I'd say 90% of them ate straight away. So this guy's like smashing down his food. Come along really well. Just cool.
Growing great.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how they colour up as they get older. So there's a few of those, but I'm just going to hang on to them. I don't mind them being older when they're pretty like that.
So much variation in that marble gene. We've talked about it before. There's so much potential and so many directions that a lot of people are working on it. So we'll see the full potential in years to come. But a beautiful morph.
Yeah, and now going into some of the other genetic stuff. So I put my caramel jag over Ghost Egg this year, and this guy's turning out really nice. This one's a whole back one I've picked. Caramel Z Jag, 100% heady xanthic. Actually, quite nice light colour, nice bit of stripe down there.
Very nice.
So I want to be hanging around. There's a few more there, so I'll be holding on to those. Hopefully make some of these in the xanthic forms and super ghosts and all sorts of stuff, super zebra ghosts and stuff.
Plenty of combos to come out of that.
Yep. So
bit of striping there is always nice.
Yeah, just a cool little critter. I mean, it's not a. I mean, there's other more visual stuff here, but I just picked a few things. It doesn't always have to be the most expensive snake in the house to be cool. Sometimes it's just nice to take something. I know
just things that are nice.
I know I've got something here that Brent wants, but I'm going to leave that till last.
Of course.
So this is a little ghost jay out of the White Line project. So which is just smashing down food and coming along well. So I don't know if that camera's going to focus well. Focus camera.
Yeah, it looks all right. Yep.
So,
yeah, nice. Had a few feeds.
Yeah, it's taken feed quite well now. Smashing down. Took a little bit to get it going, but it's had 4 or 5 now. So just starting to go. I have the little colour on the nose.
Still got that little blue tinge. Won't last forever, but there's hanging in there.
So interesting to see, but at least it's got, me white boy, at least his genes are in it. So that's kind of a good thing. Keep him going. So moving on to. So I don't know, I only got 3 more. I only bought out 10 or 11 or something like that. So
I only got 5 ready, so you did better than me.
Well, I've probably got more stuff to pick from. So this was one I put a post up the other day of. This is a red albino that I hatched up. So I thought I'd bring him along so I can try and see actually how red that is. And when we actually pull the other albino out.
That's insane. That looks like almost like a wild type in the tub and caramel when you opened it.
Yeah, it does. And that's what someone said. Oh, it looks like it's caramel. I said, well, when you consider there's no caramel, hypo, or anything like it, it's pure MD over pure dark.
In that line.
There's no mix. When you compare albino to albino, you can see.
That's crazy, isn't it? Wow.
My camera just freeze, or is that all okay still for you? Oh, no, there we go.
It's close.
So, there's a huge
that's chalk and cheese, isn't it? That's insane.
I mean, it was hard to try to actually get a great photo of it. Probably get a bit of a.
It's shed already.
Yeah, it's shed and it's eating, and I don't know, a few people might say, but you almost see the. Oh, I can't. There we go. The camera's going to pick up on the eyes. You can see the albino eye colour.
Yep.
Little pinky eye sort of thing. But yeah, just. I kind of looked at it twice and had to do a double take, and I don't know if
what is it?
You can actually see like the yellows, and there's a stripe right down the side, and I don't know if the pattern comes up. You can kind of see that's the pattern in real life is actually a orangey sort of colour, but yeah, it's just.
That's beautiful.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, Matty Travs likes that one. Matty Travs says, "I want that one." Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. I'm sure you do. But,
just write his name on it now.
Yeah, just get the texture out. and the words I write on it are probably a little bit different to the name Maddie Travs, but
You don't holdback doesn't say the same as Matty Traps.
I didn't think so. I knew there was something wrong with the letters in the word.
Yeah, you still haven't learned to spell.
Yeah, no, I still haven't learned to spell. What's that? That's the right line. So this is a caramel pepper jack just hatched out. So and doing well. You know, the shed and doing all those wonderful things they're supposed to do. It looks a bit dark in that tub.
That's nice. You can see the caramel coming through in that already.
Yeah, it's going to be quite nice when it's all done. Bit of colour in it. I was late to get a few of these. So, yeah, there's a couple of them already smashing a few feeds, and all boys. So
yeah,
probably not going to need 3 boys, but yeah.
Hemipene fest at your place as always.
It certainly was. I had bags of them.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. And the last one, I know this is something that Mr. Smith wants.
Yeah, bring it out. Let's go.
It comes in a ghost form.
Ghost with a little bit of Bradley thrown in.
It's got a bit of bread lice thrown into it, and this one's this one's going to be an absolute cracker, I reckon.
That's my one, yes.
Oh, it might be. Do you play your cards right?
Might be. It depends what we bring to the bargaining table. It looks like my one.
I've got another one there. I almost brought it out. I've got another one that's showing almost no pattern at all. There's pattern there, but when you look at it, it is all the dark background color. Doesn't have the nice light bandings that this one has. So
that's nice. Like, nice. I like it because it's got a beautiful food lump in it.
It does. Yeah, it loves its tucker.
Loves its rats.
Yeah, and I like it's got the it's got the bread-like type head markings and little blotches down the back of the neck there and everything. So yeah,
that little banding across the nose, very breadly. That's nice. Little dog bone features in the markings there.
Yep. So this was actually my pick of the litter, so to speak. This one and the other patternless type one, I thought, oh, they're very cool. Right. I mean, they're all pretty nice, but you know, when you've got a few there to pick out, you always pick look for a few features in particular, and I really like the contrast in this guy. Yeah,
it's nice. Troy the gangster thinks that's his one, but he's sadly in the queue, mate. Get in the queue. And there's different types of the queue.
You can't keep racking up. You can't keep racking up orders without paying for them.
I'm pretty sure Mr. Cartel's got that side of it under control.
Oh, I'm sure he has. But I got it. There's a few more there, and I don't need all the males. So, and I know you're looking for a male, Brent, but we can talk.
Whatever, male, female. Funny enough, I've got albino Bradley in both sexes, Daz. Would you believe it?
Yeah, I believe you've got more than me as well. There's just one particular type of bread lie you don't have, and I won't just go
just like that one. Yeah, that one exactly, mate. I left it for you. You held me out of it on purpose, and I'm glad you got it done. I didn't want you crying about 2 Bradley projects you started, and I had to finish for you.
Yeah. Or you could just say you couldn't breed them, and be honest.
I couldn't breed them. I only had one shot at it and failed, and just gave up when I just get one off Daz. I'll take the easy route. So Mr. Gangster wants to see the white line caramels.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yes, I almost bought the caramel. Oh, I love my white line caramel. He's a stunning snake. Depends on
beautiful
if you want to
animals.
I don't get it if you want to bear with me. I'll have to find a tub for it. I was almost going to bring one of the little baby chondros out, but I went, oh, no, I can't do that. They're in quarantine, so they're not coming out with all the other stuff at the moment. So
we're mixing everything together.
Yeah, but if you want to minimise me for a sec, I can go grab the white line caramel if you want to have a look.
Yeah, mate, go get it while I'll get you on the screen. There you go. You're going.
I'll be back.
You go searching. I'll entertain the crowd while you're gone. Mr. Stucky said that red one looked like a Amazon tree boa. Absolutely. I'm going to have to go and investigate this red thing a little further. I had some albinos that were quite red in my Murray Darling clutch of albino and pepper genes mixed together, which I thought they were pretty good. But looking at Darren's, I think Darren won that race by a country mile. So I'll pull one of mine out shortly, and we can have a bit of a look. But looking at the way his looked, I think that he did a better job of it than me. And I know that Neville up in Queensland has some 75% albino Murray blood stuff that's absolutely sensational. Definitely worth further exploring down the track, adding some more Murray to it, much like the albino Bradley stuff at 75% and 88% is going to be sensational. There'll be plenty of work to be done down the track. I think we're pretty much done. Stuart Gamble having some internet problems. I'm sure you have to jump back in somewhere else. White line out, and we're back up to date. Well, I've got a few to show once Daz finishes with his white line story. It was quite a good season for us at KHP, so it'll be nice to look back at a couple of the things that I popped out. And same deal, like Daz brought out some stuff. We're not here to show the powerhouse $1 million animals. So just some things that are your first or things that are very nice that you love yourself are often good to look back on.
Oh, definitely. It's not like I say all the time. Like, mutations are great. I love them, and it's what I enjoy, and understanding the genetics, how it works, and line breeding, and all that sort of stuff. But sometimes just enjoying the basic mutation or basic wild type animal, I should say, is just as cool. So yep, this is one Troy is drooling over. Ugh. It's terrible, ugly little. This is one of the little white line.
Oh, mate, that's disgusting. Put it away.
Yeah, so this is a white.
Caramel and white. But is that potentially a super caramel, or is that just that line?
No, it is just a caramel. So, when we look at those conversations where people think they can tell what an animal is by a visual appearance, regardless of your name in the hobby, that's a load of crap. And this is actually, right, if we want to get a super technical, this is actually a hypo. So it's not the imported caramel as such.
Okay. Maybe that's the trick. That's the McLeod line.
It's based. So the parents of this were caramel exanthic, hypo exanthic from Lark's line, which I've outcrossed and made an absolutely cracking white animal. And then, I don't know why the camera's doing that. Maybe just trying to focus and having a struggle. Still not quite showing the colours as well as what I'd like, but So someone was saying, I believe, telling Mr. D that hypos don't get black. So I'm not sure what that is in this one, and this will get more black as it grows, which is what happens in most Morelia, particularly in carpets and Darwins. Any light-coloured Darwins you see, like hypo type ones, they will all end up with black and all end up like maybe nice-looking adults, but the melanin will increase as they grow. So, saying it's not an uncommon thing, but this
beautiful light though. The caramel in contrast to that, I think it's more the white background on those. That's super nice coloration. It's super. You'd expect to see a bit less patterning, perhaps a bit more faded out, and certainly less black. So. Looking closely at it, you'd say, it's not a likely candidate for a super, but maybe it's that hypo, side at work and making it look so nice.
Yeah, it's the polygenics side and what I put it with. So, they're pure coastal, obviously, but I had a really nice light coastal that I put it with, and grab these one. So that's definitely a favourite. So by the time next year comes around, that'll be up to size to breed. And this is my favourite. This is my favourite, out of the clutch. And he's doing an absolute cracking job of a beautiful little ghost. So
wow.
He almost looks just completely black and grey and white. And he's absolute feet. He's about to do winger acts, but he smashed a couple offers. If you just sit still for a minute.
Yep, and still some black in it. As much as that white base is coming through so strong, we certainly see plenty of melanin coming through as well.
Yeah. So he does not know when to say no to food, this one, which is good.
No, that's a year old?
Yeah, he's a year old, one of the babies from last year. So
Yeah, well,
certainly. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm absolutely smashing him hard with food, but it's about to get ramped up.
it's going in the fast lane. Let's go.
Going in the far. He's already started, so you can see he's just chunking up there. He looks nice there. He just does not want to stay still for a minute. Come on. Nice.
That's very nice.
He's placid as, but just he's like, I'm free.
Yep, David Henry, correct. That is something very special, Daz. Unreal. Love that ghost, says Peter Knox. And Faye, that's a crowd pleaser, that one. Donna Bennett in late. G'day, Donna.
All right, I'll take the lid off again in a sec. Let him calm down when he wants. But look, when these guys hatched out, they were just spectacular. The Xanthi, I think you've seen as well. It's just like black and white, absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, he wants to be a bugger. Thanks, David. Just wants to eat nice, so we're having a fight at the moment.
Yep.
You want something to eat? It comes in the form of a rat, and if you don't want it, then you starve. But I'll get him going. Not the first time.
Going well.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that little unit.
Very nice. Very nice. The white line, plenty of potential in that, mate. I can see why people are getting very excited about the potential animals that can come from that.
Yeah, I think with a bit of future breeding and introducing it like that, the Jag, so the white line dad that produced these, the nice black and white coastal that produced them. Obviously a different, the caramel Jag I used was the same dad but a different mum, so it's there. But as long as dad's genes in it, then there's potential for it. So when these guys go back with the ghost Jags and other things and everything, and give it another few years. Line breeding, as we're always talking about, the line will just get better and better. These ghosts will get whiter and whiter and whiter and paler, and they'll be quite a spectacular animal in a few generations. I mean, realistically, this is only F1, so wait till we get F3s.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty Trav saying the heads from that line are grey-looking animals. Both of his showing caramel. It's good when hets look that good that you want them to grow up and make some sensational babies. I guess we've all got to deal with hets at some point, so it's nice to have hets that are good looking.
That's the way. Talk of the devils. Scotty Reed was one of the few that actually blackmailed me and coerced me into getting a pair out of this line.
That's not like Scotty.
It's not like Scotty.
Scotty got a couple of animals off me this week. I didn't want to sell him either. And then takes a mouse feeder home and feeds it a rat straight away, just to even annoy me even further.
Don't you hate that? Goes both ways. So how about you?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
So what do you got to share with us, mate?
Okay, let me get rid of that one. Now we're going to have to do fancy technology things, and I've got to find my other camera.
It's the camera.
Which will be that one.
Wow, that's a nice USB connection you got there. Beautiful.
How do you like that blue tree snake there, mate? Looking good.
I almost said something I really shouldn't have. It was so close, but I managed to bite my tongue before it came out. So that's good.
Remember, we're on school night hours, so
yes.
7:30 kickoff.
Yes.
Don't do anything stupid.
That's quite good. So while you're digging around there, we were talking about the show. There was one thing I noticed, which I had a lot of people asking me, and I don't know if you had the same thing, Brant, and that was people come up looking at snakes in the enclosures that we have and, can we take it out? Can we handle it? And this, that, and the other. And I see other people doing it at the show, and the quarantine risks of doing that are massive to your collection. We don't take animals out. We actually try to minimise handling in our animals at every moment we can from as soon as we get to the show. So, I have F10, I have hand gel sanitizer there and everything when in between snakes. I'm F10ing in behind my enclosure. So people come up and ask to want to see something. There's two reasons. One, quarantine. We don't want to, risk. We don't know where you've been. We don't know what you've touched. Don't know what you've held on to. You could have been up patting, the exotics from one of the zoos or something or other. Not that they could possibly carry any disease or virus, but we don't know that. So that's reason number one. And reason number two is it's also actually a national parks or environment and heritage or whatever it is now. Regulation as part of the show. Animals must be maintained unless you have an exhibitor's permit, which is done through DPI. Your animals must remain in their enclosure for the duration of the show, unless obviously you're taking it out to put into a tub to be sold. So, you know, that's why we do it. And anybody else with animals out really should chuck them away.
No, and parks are doing that as an protection for the hobby against virus spread or mite spread or, you know, problems of people transporting things around at expos. And I see people doing it. It drives me insane. I see people buy snakes and then be pulling them out and passing them around with their friends in the crowd. And I see people selling snakes that get them out and hand them to people to have a little hold of and, you know, see how it handles, which, like, to me is just, it's playing Russian roulette. It's insane to do 100%. Those things at expos and then take, you know, handle this one, and take one back and put it back in its tub. Like, to me, just absolutely insanity. But I don't know. So I get people want to see how things handle, and I have taken animals out at expos against the rules and handled them, you know, to show people it's not, you know, it's not a crazy snake. It handles well. It's fine. But that's me handling it, you know, for a second behind my table that no one else can touch. You know, like it's 100%. That's different to handling it, you know, to giving it to somebody else to touch. That's no one touches my animals ever.
And to add, 100%, and the same. And to add weight to the argument, I actually had to take a couple of critters out to my favourite vet, Michelle. If anybody's looking for a vet out at North Richmond, go and see Michelle Darley. Unreal vet, great person, nicest person you'd ever meet, great friend, and really knows her stuff when it comes to reptiles. I had two snakes. I had a big old striped coaster boy, had a swollen throat, and I had another girl that had a lump. One of my females had a lump in her. So I went out to Michelle to get him checked out. It turns out the coaster has an infection in the throat, so he's on antibiotics, maybe from a rat or a claw or something or other. So he's okay and getting fixed, and the other one's awaiting surgery for, I'm not sure yet, find out. But I was talking to her about viruses and stuff like that, and she said almost every snake that's coming through the door now that has, you know, obviously showing signs of illness, has nitivirus, it has mycoplasma, it has sunshine virus. Like she said, it is unbelievable how bad it actually is. And that to me was, you know, reinforcement of why we have strict quarantines and why it shows we treat our like basically have our animals that are there on display in lockdown, you know. So, and it's just the only reason I brought it up is because I want other people to know, you know, if anybody here, I mean, I'm sure, you know, given another 5-10 years, people here that are in the show and building their collections or probably be at shows and everything. And that's why you might think it's, you know, oh, we'll get it out and show that person, let them have a handle of it to try to secure a sale. It is not worth your collection.
No, definitely not.
Story. You get a virus in there and it will wipe your collection out. And if you sell a snake to someone else, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you're doing the worst thing you could possibly do by selling something you know is infected, assuming you know, and spreading it around and making the problem worse. You know, it's why Brett and I run lockdown collections. I haven't brought anything in for quite a few years. And this year I've opened up quarantine. I'm bringing in a few animals this season into quarantine. They'll all get tested through Michelle, you know, in probably 5 or 6 months' time. And then they'll get brought into the main collection once I know that those animals are cured. So don't mean to harp on about it, but I think it's an extremely important topic that, you know, you need to be aware of. Buying and selling snakes is an invitation for having no snakes at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a few people commenting now about quarantine and other issues. Maybe we'll do a show, you know, in a bit of time about quarantine and testing, because it's certainly a topic that's overlooked and swept under the carpet by many people.
Yep, 100%.
David makes.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, David makes a good point about, you know, handling animals at Expo anyway. Of course, they're not going to handle the same as when they're at home. Those animals are at a peak stress point when they're at an expo. They get shoved in a tub. They're shoved under bright lights with 1,000 people standing over them and kids going, look, snake. You know, like it's an absolute horrible time for animals. So for them to even handle well on an expo is a miracle in itself.
Yep.
So yeah, it's
100%. Well, I spoke
trusting the
to
breeder, I guess.
Yep, I spoke to Michelle and actually asked her to come on, and she said she'll be happy to. So once she does surgery on my other snake out there, I'll find out what's wrong with that. I'll have a chat to her and see if she can find out all the latest and greatest information on perhaps virus testing and costings and all that sort of stuff and symptoms and all that sort of stuff. Have a chat around, and I think it would be quite an interesting show. I think there's a lot of misconception on how viruses are spread and stuff like that. But obviously, you do as much as you can to protect yourself and to protect your animals. So, but I think facts from a vet's mouth cannot be any better than what someone writes on Facebook is like, oh, well, I heard this, and that's what I've been told, and let's get it straight from the vets. They're the ones that know best.
Definitely, mate. And I know you and me, Daz, have been to a couple of talks. Shane Simpson, the leading research going on with lots of the viruses in the country, and we've gathered information to help protect 100%. Ourselves and understand things. And there's a lot of things that people just don't understand. I know Kira Jade made the comment. Can I also say with quarantine, 6 months is not enough. Minimum 9 to 12 months. Yes. That's also one of the biggest misconceptions out there, that you can actually buy in an animal. If you test that for the 3 known viruses and it comes back negative, you get a test back in a month to 6 weeks these days. If you retest that animal for NIDO in 3 months and it comes back negative test again, that's it. That's the end of your quarantine period. There's not going to be mites or anything that are going to last 3 months. So, I quarantine things a long period of time for different reasons, but you can have a thing out of quarantine in 3 or 4 months, providing it's tested. Testing is the only way. You cannot out-quarantine a virus. Shane Simpson told us at one of those talks he had an animal that was testing positive to one of the viruses. I can't remember which one. Do you remember which one it was, Daz? Sunshine or Nido?
I don't think it was Nido.
Might have been Sunshine, positive, showing no symptoms at all, and tested it several times over a 2-year period, never showed a symptom, and tested positive to that virus for 2 years before he destroyed it, as the pure, testing and example that you cannot out quarantine. If you can have that animal in your collection, if you didn't test that, 2 years it's been shedding that virus, it's game over. You're finished, and you don't even know where it came from because that animal's still perfectly healthy. So
yep. And then come breeding season, if that animal happens to be a male, you chuck it in this girl, chuck it in that girl, chuck with that girl, suddenly they get sick, they die, something else happens, and you think, oh, well, maybe it's not him. You don't know what it was. You don't get it tested because you think, oh, it must have been an RI, I got things too cold or whatever. Yep. It's still there. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's certainly a scary thought, that's for sure. Absolutely. So
sure.
Let's get off the bad.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll come back to virus, mate. That's a whole show in itself. But
yeah, 100%.
Scotty Calvin, g'day, mate. Sherman's doing well from KHP. Yeah. Scotty, is his fake Facebook name, has bought a beautiful Bredley boy of mine. I'm glad to see he's doing well, mate. That is a beautiful snake. Take good care of him. An old favourite of mine, one of my first ever reptiles. That one would be when the first 10 I ever bought anyway. Yes, Liam, we will do a show later on that whole topic.
Certainly.
All right, let's have a look at a couple from the KHP camp. This little shy one who's turned his head away, doesn't want to look at the camera much.
It's too bright.
Look away. Sorry, bright light. Not cool. Sorry, and got a nice little food lump in there from a feed today. This one looking like a moon. Don't know. Could be a snow. And certainly for all the people who tell me snows and moons and things, it's easy. It's not. There's certainly been some animals that have been sold before 12 months that have looked like moon glows and turned into snows once they're 12 to 18 months old.
Yeah.
Certainly my original boy I thought was definitely a moon, and got advice from some other people who had bred them who said, mate, it looks moon to me. And I'm almost certain he's a snow now after he's 2.5 years old now. So you just can't tell with the old snow and moon gene. It seems like they need some time to fully colour up. It's a nice big belly of food from today's food. But that one, beautiful. To me, looking nice and white, at least for now. Let's see how we go with another 10 feeds.
So does that one come with hemipenes?
That one certainly does. It is a boy. I don't know that there was any girls in those 3 of the white ones I made this year, I think. Sorry, buddy. I'll try not to disturb anything too much after feeding.
Yes, Anthony O'Daniel's in the house. G'day, mate. How you going? Good to see you come along.
Yeah, all 3 of those white ones were boys, which is kind of annoying. But you can't control the odds.
It's annoying. It must be annoying when you've got some, because when you don't have any at all, that's annoying as well.
I don't know what you're talking about, Daz.
Yeah, I do.
This one's one of the little Bradley Darwin albinos.
Yeah.
Also with a little lump from today, but this one's one of the ones with a little, you can see that fine white pinstripe line down the back.
Mike has decided to play up something fierce. I don't know if that's my mic. Or you.
I can hear you fine.
Sorry, my headphones are having a spack attack at the moment. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's me or your end, Brent, giving me interference. Oh.
No, it could be me. Could be me. I can hear you fine, though.
Yeah, I'm just getting... Sounds like a bad connection somewhere or other. Oh.
With the technology problems we've had tonight, I would not be surprised if any problems we'd run into.
I'm not sure what is causing that noise. That's a gorgeous animal, though.
Beautiful animal and feeding, so it doesn't quite show up the how orange that looks under this light, but that's one of certainly the nice.
So it must be your end, Brent.
You're getting some interference coming through.
Well, Troy B's getting it. He's on your feed and can hear it. So, whereas
my feed has your sound coming through too, though.
Yeah.
I know. I'll put one away. That's a little girl. Would you believe a girl? Albino Bradley. How rare is that? That's after years of breeding them. I've only got about 2 or 3. Actually, I've only got 1 girl ever. And this year, managed to get a couple more girls, which will be staying right here.
Yeah. So that was an albino Bradley, was it?
Bradley cross Darwin, albino. Yep. One with a nice stripe jobby. Yep. I'll go to something from your cam for this one, Daz. You can tell me if this thing's worth keeping or not. Just get rid of his little bit of food he doesn't want to eat. This little fella, little boy.
Look at that.
So what was little caramel pepper.
Yeah, oh, that's caramel pepper. Yeah, I thought it looked familiar.
Get the head out. See if we can get it to focus a bit better. Get everything else out of the picture.
Look at that. Feeding well too, by the look of it.
It's had a couple of feeds, I think. It's not gone insane yet, but it's actually got food sitting in its tub right now that didn't feel like eating today, so I thought I'd leave it in there overnight, but I'm sure he's had a couple of feeds already.
Yeah.
But that beautiful pepper eye, that's the first for me. This is why, as much as peppers are still a pretty new thing for most people, that's the first year I've ever bred any pepper combos myself, so it was beautiful to see those big solid black eyes. If I can try and get it. He doesn't particularly want to show himself his eye too much.
It's looking good.
I can certainly see the attraction, Daz, of the potential of that pepper gene.
Mm.
Get that caramel pepper up.
It's me overworking the microphone, he said, Matt. It's trying to keep up. Too many words per second talking. I don't know what it is. I'm just getting this static going in my ears. So I don't know whether Brent has a bad connection or something, or it's me.
Something not quite right.
Oh.
So this one I think, Daz, is just a pepper jag, I'd imagine.
It's looking caramel to me from that from there.
It could be, but I've got another one I'll show you that I think is more caramel. It's possibly a caramel, but this thing's going in the shed, so it's sold right off, but it still took food today, which was surprising. I didn't think it would be that keen to eat, but blue eyes and very dull looking, still very keen to eat, which is always nice. I just hope it gets that food digested before that food's going to cause problems with the shed going over it. Cherie found one last week. She had to assist in snipping the shed to get over the food lump. When hatchies get a little bit excited about food, not realising they've got a shed about to drop. But I'm not sure where that one does. I was hoping you could tell me. I thought just pepper jag. I had it written down as, but when you look at that really stretched out section, potential caramel.
It looks caramel, like in comparison, because I find when they hatch, they're actually quite a darker colour. And then as they go, they'll start to lighten up. But the MD certainly gives them more, I suppose, gives the caramels more a redder colour, as opposed when you look at, say, a caramel bread, like they get more of a yellow-orangey colour. If that makes sense.
Yep. And then this one. This one that I thought was...
Do me a favour for a sec, Brent. Just drop me out of your stream and bring me back in for a sec, because I'm getting shocking interference. Just like...
Drop your main one out. Okay, there goes Daz. He's gone. And he's back.
Yeah, I don't know what's causing it. Just getting like a noise in the headphones. So when you're talking,
okay, I can't hear it, so I don't know where it could be coming from my end, but I certainly got nothing coming through.
I can't hear anything. Oh yeah, try that. That's nice.
Well, that I'm not sure. I mean, it's that I thought looked more caramel. So I thought that may be the caramel pepper jag.
I lost you completely, mate. I'm not sure what you...
I hear you good.
Can you hear me?
Maybe you. Yeah, I hear you, mate.
There we go. That seems to have sorted it out. I don't know whether I've got a bad connection on a USB port or something, but that's spot on. Rightio. So, sorry about that, everyone.
More technical problems. Darren had this before the show. We went through unplug, replug, restart.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is causing it, but it'll be something I'll look into after. Yes, that's the other one. Yeah, I see.
So I don't know, man. I thought that was caramel pepper jag, but it looks more caramel in real life to me than certainly down in the back end of the body.
Have you got the other one to put side by side? It'll actually be interesting. Where's my one? Where did I put it? See somewhere? Oh, caramel pepper.
The other one didn't shed, but
right, looking at that, and looking at, like, I'm just looking at my one at the moment. That one, if you hold them still for a sec, that one that's on looking at the screen, the right hand side, the one without the wire mesh in it.
Yep.
Looks like mine. That looks caramel to me. And the other one looks the same. Well, I think they look caramel to me. I find with the actual pepper jags, they're just grey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They just seem to be more grey. I don't know if I got one here somewhere on. I think they're in the other.
Maybe they both could be caramel. Who knows? I guess once this one sheds, we'll see a little bit more colour.
Yeah, like to give it an idea, here's a stripe. Here's one which is from a stripe. This is just a. It's not obviously a pepper jag, but stick my camera on.
Yep.
So just to show, if you bring that up big with your ones, right? That's the colour I tend to normally see.
Yeah, okay, that's almost black and white, isn't it?
So, you know, the adult female striped jag pepper that I got, that's one of its kids, hence where the striping's coming from.
Yep.
And that actually looks like it's caramel. If I look at that adult, it actually looks caramelish in colour. But that's what the jag colours tend to be. And I've got another one here.
Certainly more black and white, aren't they?
That one's a little bit more black and white. They tend to be, I mean, obviously it's subject to your
different lines and different caramel.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's another one. You can see that one's just a little bit more grey. Same thing. You know, you look at the colour palette, so to speak, you know. Freaking.
Let me get yours up on the big one.
Before he decides to go launching out of the tub. There we go.
Definitely more black and white compared to the ones I've got, so maybe...
And that's exactly what they tend to be. Obviously, you know, mine mostly have a higher percentage MD in them.
Yep.
Than what you've got there. This is a pepper out of the same clutch. So, and even that, you know, like same thing. You look at the colours, which you're not looking at because you're over there.
But just putting the snake back.
Putting your snake back, mate. But yeah,
that's just.
So it's the exact same line. So
same line.
So it's pure pepper over the striped head. So it's a pepper, obviously mixed blood, but you can see the same thing. You have the greys and the blacks, whereas yours tends to have more browns. Now
more of the caramel colour, I guess. I mean, they'll start to pop a little bit. You know, in that first 6 months, you'll see a bit more of it, and I find most of the caramel stuff once they get a fair bit older, it tends to get lost a little bit in the. They just get a little bit more yellow. You can't really tell anymore.
Yep. So there's a ghost version. So it's a ghost posset pepper.
That's nice.
So we needs to have a feed.
Yeah, there's a couple lagers.
Yeah, I got a few different things here. What else? What's this one here? This will be a bit of jungle. It's like, hello.
Nice contrast.
Yep, nice stripe.
So it's friendly, mate.
It's not only Z-Mac that's got nice striped jungles.
They're working on their own line. They're doing the right things.
Absolutely. They got some stunning critters. Good on them. So there you go. So that would be my thought, looking at that, and you know, like it's looking. Oh, you had to, didn't you?
I had to, Daz. I had to. I'm sorry.
Oh, I cannot blame you, mate. That is a sensational effort. That I still go and talk about. Put it away.
Still in shock myself. And the thing is eating, as you can see by the lump from today's food.
Yeah.
I won't disturb it too much because it's got a large package on board.
Yep. It's great that it's eating there. Was that is that a boy or a girl? I can't remember if you said or didn't. You don't know.
It's a boy.
Oh, it's a boy.
Which will be handy, but so were the other 17 in the clutch. There was one girl in that clutch, can you believe it? Unbelievable quantity of all my first peppers, you know, of all different combos. I'm so happy to get so many out in one clutch. And all bar one straight pepper, Poshead albino, is a girl. The rest, every single animal was a male.
It's funny, you know, here I am complaining about having a lack of hemipenes. And you are
need to do
complaining about having a lack of ovaries.
We're going to have to do some trading of some hemipenes for some girls. But
well,
mate,
you give me that one, right? And that'll fix my problem. And,
it's already gone off the table, but before you even got to finish your sentence, it left the table.
Oh, I've got one. But we take hemipenes.
Hang on, I've got to get you back on camera.
Right. Here's one I prepared earlier. Oh, it might be a little bit big to chuck under there. Let's just see if I can get the nice little. Oh, where's your head, buddy? There. So here's one I prepared earlier. Look at that little beautiful head there. So here's one of my albino peppers. It's a girl though.
That's very reduced pattern, isn't it?
Yep.
That's one that's humming along now, I can see.
Oh, yeah. If you actually just put me on the main screen, it's probably easier.
You go into you on the big. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's move you over there.
There we go.
Oh, just look at the size of it.
So we talk about feeding animals, and we don't rush. I mean, this girl's 2 years of age now, but this girl, when I came back from work in June, was eating adult mice. So
kicked on.
If you want to get your animals feeding up the size, it can be quite done if you feed them well, but you've got to do, there's ways to do it. If you overfeed them, feed them too big a meal, you can kill them. So, you've got to be able to push them the right ways and keep them good, happy, and healthy.
And allow them a poop in a shed and keep them rolling along.
Oh, she had a big rat the other day, and as you can see, she's quite full. So, she'll get another one soon, and I'm sure she'll have a big poop. She's come a long way, so looking forward to breeding with her this year.
Moving along well, very nice.
Yeah. What else do we know? You look like you've had a shed. You look like you want to eat me. Yeah, buddy. So this is a high percentage MD jag. You're not going to eat it, that's good. He loves his food too. But these are really, really blue. He's had a shed and a poo and made a knot and messed even closer.
Fresh skin.
Yep. So I saw one on the weekend, and then you got this one here, which has really nice colour.
MD jag head pepper.
Yep. So these are high percentage, these guys. So these are 82.5% MD. So there you can see I've put photos of these guys up. You can see how blue they are.
Yeah, get a beautiful pattern.
Yeah, and you can see how the MDs are they just want to kill you and eat you alive and everything. But, yeah.
Well, that's why my wife loves the pepper so much, because they're absolutely beautiful natured animals.
Yeah.
The ones I've got, and I know you've said the same, but they're generally an absolute pleasure to own.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I got a few critters there that I would not do that without my hook.
No.
I'll eat my face off.
Definitely not.
Look at that.
Here's the
Goodness.
These haven't shed yet, so they're going crinkly and shitty looking.
So are they albino MD line?
They are. That's like I'm hoping they'll shed and look like that thing you pulled out earlier that I was horrified at how beautiful it was.
Oh, the red one.
This one in particular looks like poo at the moment, so surely going to shed in the next day or two. But the red in those things is absolutely mind-blowing. It's,
I remember I showed you pics of that one that I had that unfortunately died when that thermostat shoot itself was like that. That is going to be a sensational looking animal.
Yeah.
I love the contrast. I really love the orange and red contrasts.
Yep, definitely. And these are only 50%. It's only going to get better in time. If you can certainly take some of these and improve on that line, but that colour, I don't know if it shows up on the camera that well, it's just such a crazy contrast of orange and red at this stage.
Yeah, I think that
for an animal,
I think, and
that age, it's just crazy for anything that good, that young to look that nice,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of untapped potential in there that wasn't seen, like in putting pepper and albino together has allowed that to shine its head through. I guess doing like the albino and the breadlie, it was a little bit more of a faster thing, but some of these albino MDs, absolutely stunning. So wait till they get to 75% and up higher. That'll be quite nice.
Yeah. Yep, these were a couple of those breadlie that came out of that last clutch, that striped pairing that came out very reduced pattern, very bright orange sides, and something very, very odd out of the parents anyway. This is definitely not from the reduced pattern line that, apologetically bred for 3 generations. These came from 2 very, very fairly normal looking breadlie that just had some nice stripes and a little, I'd say, very mildly reduced pattern. Certainly not the way these came out. with that insane, half the sidewalls missing on these things.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even the spots down the back of the neck are quite reduced in size.
Yeah. Let me grab another one, and I'll grab one of the normals. There was 3 of these.
So was that my one you brought out, or was this mine? Sorry?
That was not. This one's a female, so guess whose one this one is?
Oh, that must be mine. Must come with a boy somewhere or other. Was that the other one?
There's a few boys lurking around.
That's insane. I love how it's almost got like, double lines down the back of the neck there.
Yeah, it's that one has got an insane stripe. Pretty much, I mean, it's broken up, but it's got a cracking stripe. It's got reduced patterning down the side, almost a silver pepper looking pattern down the sides of it. It's so broken up and reduced. Sorry, I'm trying not to disturb you too much. I know you just ate, but let me try and get this. And this is a clutch mate.
Look at the difference in
We
colour.
can compare.
So the clutch mate, obviously is a little bit harder to tell on the screen. So would you say the clutch mate's more your typical bred-like coloration as a hatching?
Very much. Yep, bred plenty of Bredli over the years. I was never that into Bredli, but somehow I ended up with an absolute ton of the stuff in different projects.
Yeah,
thanks to you and others.
I was going to say maybe I should have kept those stripe ones for myself.
Let me get rid of some of this here so these two can sit together. But yeah, in comes this thing, this brown, typical Bredli colour.
Yep.
The one on this one here, certainly very much, you look at the head even, very, very Bredli looking.
Yep.
And then these things came, which I don't know what's going on with these. These are a hold back and breed and see how they pan out, but
I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. We were talking about polygenics, and I said, it's it's almost a contradiction because the more you line breed, you expect to get the same thing, but then the more, the more you delve into the gene pool and take all the common stuff out, the more opportunity of something unusual comes up.
Pops up.
So, like if you just constantly putting wild type bredli together and that and random ones together, then you constantly only get normal bredli. But if you breed some bredli, keep them back and hold some of their babies and so on and so forth, and actually do your proper F1, F2, F3 generations, you start getting in and you can start digging out something unusual that's been lurking in the background for multiple generations. So, it makes it all exciting when you line breed stuff.
Well, if these had come from that reduced pattern line or line bred forever, I'd say, yeah, fair enough. That's been many generations to try and get that. But these just came from some very, very normal looking things. There's one other male.
And the fact you haven't got just one.
No, it was I can't remember. It was a 15 or 16 in the clutch. It wasn't a huge clutch, but there were 4 of these weird looking things. And the rest were just very normal looking Bredli things. So
I love how it's got almost a dotted train track type striping at the back of the head. It's almost got 2 lines of stripes down the back of the head, some of them.
Yeah.
You could see that. I don't know if anyone remembers the old train track BHPs that K Brothers had back in the day. Yeah,
Definitely.
A few more generations of line breeding for that trait, and you could have twin stripe bredli, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. It was something weird, and it was certainly the aim of this project that I had started was striped Bredli. There was nothing much more to it, the story does. It came with a story that these stripes popped up every clutch in sort of recessive looking numbers. So I was thinking, hey, maybe this is a recessive stripe project, but pairing the stripe to stripe, there was very few stripes in the clutch, so it's definitely not a recessive stripe. In fact, there was about 3 or 4 that had any particular sort of amount of striping at all. So the striping's out the window, but out comes these things in recessive numbers, which could be nothing, could be just a random event, but maybe the start of another polygenic line to further improve on, or may one day prove to be something in itself. So just some more holdbacks. But,
just more you add to the list. Well, that's the good thing, when you get one, or an entire clutch of, you can kind of question, you know, like what's actually going on. But when you actually get the correct ratio numbers, you know, and you know, I think that's a good thing when you've got something like that. It's not like you don't have a photographic history of what's going on and knowledge. So if it does prove out, you know, there's no like, oh, well, you know, random garbage stories of what you've paired together. Like, you know, you've got it all there.
Yep. Especially when you live cut stuff, you can't hide anything that you want to hide anyway.
Well, that's it. You put up photos of the entire clutches and all that sort of stuff. It'd be very exciting. That's not very nice. You should give that to me.
Well, this one's on hold for Charlie Deeb himself. Once I can get the little girl to pull her finger out and decide that food's an option for her. There's that really striped Xanthic jag that came in one of the earlier clutches.
That's a nice looking animal.
Beautiful. I'm not sure why I'm selling it actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
not
not
easy.
yet.
Going anywhere if it was here. I'd be holding on to that one just in case.
I don't take deposits. Works both ways. So, there's some things that just might get so good they might not want to leave. But certainly that thing was looking good in the egg. Certainly after a shed, looking fantastic. It just needs to turn on with food. Certainly wants to have a go at food. Thinks food's great to have a snap at, but has not mastered the art of digesting the food as yet. So she'll get there. Some of them just take a little bit more time. I should throw this little hopper mouse in there for the night. See how it rolls. So
yeah, something.
Well, you got one more quick one. Does 38? Yeah. Funny enough, the best one of these is also at Charlie Deeb's place, but this one for me was one that I've been trying for many, many years to get done, and they don't look that spectacular as hatchies, but I'm sure in time they'll colour up to be fantastic and genetic powerhouses of albino, granite, and jaguar all in one snake. So it's one that's feeding a bit better. That's gone. It was on Velvet Rats. It's gone to live at Charlie Deeb's place.
Yep.
This one's had a few feeds and decided I didn't want to eat for a couple of weeks. Had a feed last week and didn't want to feed this week, so it's going to be a bit of a slower road. But certainly, you know, the head pattern on them
I've got the
crackers. It's got that insane
partner for that too. Just
I bet you do. I bet you do. So the fact that I got 4 boys, talk about Hemipene Central.
It was a bit like that. I had a bit of a hemipene fest here as well with a lot of clutches, sadly.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Not always in the clutches you want either, but
nope.
Anyway,
you make do. You know, you work out. Sometimes it's handy and be able to pass on and let someone else start developing and building their own, you know, projects and making them. So,
yep, absolutely. I mean, I've done plenty of work with the albino granite stuff. I've got albino granites and a few other things there. So it's like you say, you can't keep everything. At some point, you got to move some stuff on and let some other people get involved and play the game. So,
100%. Everyone's got to have a, you know, I mean, it's always interesting. Like, it's great to be able to produce all the stuff yourself, but you know, like the albino pepper jag you produce, you know, it's we've spoken about it before. You can't always sit at the top of the tree. You know,
no.
It's always a hop, skip, and a jump. You know, you'll go ahead, someone else will get ahead, then I'll jump ahead, and then you will, and someone else will, and you know. But that's what makes hobby interesting, because you know what you've probably got planned what you're going to do with those animals down the track in a couple of years' time when they get up to size. Charlie Deeb that's got one. He's probably got his own plans what he wants to do with it, and that's when interesting stuff comes out.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, you had the jump on everyone with peppers. You did what you needed to do, but other people now will go off in different directions, and they'll use different lines of animals. So as much as you'll see some beautiful pepper stuff, you know, in your collection, others will start going in different paths and exploring everything. I mean, you can't do everything, you know, as much as you'd like to. You can't own any particular market as much as you think that you've got it. You know, like other people will do different things.
In all honesty, to be able to do that in such a huge scale, you would need a seriously decked out warehouse, truckloads of money behind you to be able to do it, you know. And then because just the outlay, like you would have to buy every single mutation that pops up in combination of both sexes to try to work into the projects. You would then need to hold back every single het of every multi-gene het that you produce, because odds. You saw my head with just simple double het peppery albinos this year, 4 clutches for none. You have one clutch of pos het and maybe this and something else, and it could be this and I don't know. And look what happened. So, if you wanted to do it at any major scale, you'd need a massive collection.
Yeah, but on top of that, I've talked about it. There's other polygenic ways you can explore different recessive genes. I've got albino granite lines, extreme high yellow, almost all yellow with some white dots on them that are orangey yellow, and then I've got a full white line of almost white albino granites with a few yellow specks on them. So they're two different lines going in 2 different directions, and I'll mix that into different things and polygenically breed the best of those things to develop the line. And I mean, it's good. Other people will go in other ways. We'll see the next 10 years of carpets will be insane because people will do different things and people will use different lines to do it. So there's things that you'll never make with peppers that someone else will go off and make, within 2 or 3 years. It'll be awesome.
Albino pepper jags, for example.
And they are awesome. And I love it.
Spectacular. But no, you're 100% right. And it's no different here. Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't post all the time. But there's heaps of variation just in the pepper, the pepper Darwins, just in that those 1-2 lines, so there's not even the pepper breadlie that I've got here. You look at that animal and you swear it's a breadlie. And it's 100% het pepper. Like the 2 clutch mates, it could not be further apart on the spectrum from MD to breadlie. And there happen to be a pair, So, to be able to make a 50% MD breadlie pepper, like I can't wait. I want to see a red pepper, get it out.
Definitely.
Same thing. So they're all projects I started on early on in the game for the exact same reason, polygenic projects, just to create, the vision was always, you've got the silver pepper, I want the white peppers, as in, that's why I've done the gelatin cross, so I can make peppers more black and white. I've got red peppers being the jungle, and I've got the yellow peppers being the jungle. So they are 4 polygenic traits. So you look at some of those, the fluoro yellow jag stuff that I produce. You've seen those, how much they glow. For those that went to the show on the weekend, would have seen just one that I had at 12 months of age, still hasn't even coloured up yet, and they're like labels here. So to see a pepper with that colour and black, I reckon smoking hot. But that's going to take many generations to get that colour through it. And being a recessive trait, it is a very, very slow process.
Indeed, when you want to increase that breadlie percentage, to increase the red, it's making heads again back to a breadlie, to grow the heads up. It's a 5 to 6 year turnaround to try and get to the next percentage level. It's 100%. many years of work. Yep,
because you've got to obviously this year, hopefully they'll pair and produce a clutch. Then I've got to hope that there's a pepper in the clutch, and ideally you hope that you get a male or opposite sex, and that's got to go back into a breadlie to increase that percentage of breadlie in it. Then you got to hold them back. So then you got hets, got to hold the hets back. Then you got to bring the hets back together. Hope you get another one, grow that up, and then back into breadlie, and then slowly that project, and you increase that percentage. So
over and over.
Yeah, simple jungle or breadlie polygenics. You can work that generation to generation, but throw a recessive trait in there and line breed it. It's an extremely slow process. But I think rewards speak for themselves. Starts in some of the albino stuff, people are starting to line breed and work with that. Myself on my pinstripe ones, and got Alex Leith doing it as well with the different type of striping one. So plenty out there to do. So
absolutely. I mean, polygenic stuff, people have turned their nose up for many years, but no one's really stuck with stuff. If people can do 3 or 4 generations of something, of anything they're trying to chase polygenic wise, they can see some magic results, but people get bored. People will go off on other tangents and want the next, they all get caught up in the FOMO. I can't miss out on this thing. You know, I've got to be, you know, fear of missing out of the latest pepper thing, and off they go on that train or off on the granite line or off on the, you know, stripe line. And they're really, if people could stick with their plans and build stuff long term, there's some crazy animals that can be produced from polygenics.
Yeah, and as you know, I generally keep back something from every clutch for that reason.
No way. Bullshit, Daz.
All right, you caught me out on line.
One, you get back 5 from every clutch from the last 15 years, you dickhead. Can we bring in Ness in for the truth meter? Ness, can we ask how many holdbacks there is every year, please?
No, she's not involved. I've banned her. No.
Ness is unavailable tonight. She's not commenting on these matters.
Due to technical difficulty. No. No, but you have to. You know, like you've got to hold back, and particularly I find it more so with stuff of colour. So, you know, let's take jungles, for example. You can hatch out a clutch of 10 jungles, and they're all going to be different. You're going to get your, you know, exceptional high black and gold, and then you'll get some other nice ones. But it can be discussed. If you had a scale of 1 to 100, you know, as we speak about with everything, you're going to get one that's 100 out of 100. It's going to be like, oh, that's what I want.
That's the one.
But you're still going to get the one. And when I say 1 to 100, you know, you're going to have black and gold like these labels, and then you're going to have black, and it might be a nice, more pastel-y yellow. Still a nice animal, but if that's your goal to be yellow like that, then holding those animals back for 12 months is really what you need and want to do, because that's going to give you a better idea. It'll take a couple of years for jungles to get up to size and colour. So, you know, 12 months of age, you're going to be looking at it going, yeah, this is going the direction I want. I now know that I want to hold these ones. These ones aren't quite colouring up as well as these ones. And so at that point, you can then start to move on the excess, obviously, subject to sexes and what you want to hold back and everything else. It's a long project, but if you can afford to hold them back, or, you know, do what other people do, just breed them, sell them, and then worry about it when they've lost an animal and don't have anything held back, and then got to go and try and find something else. Then you go back to quarantine and risk and infection and all that sort of stuff, because you're out buying animals elsewhere and bringing them back into your collection and trying to breed them this year. So
homegrown is always best. So you just got to get the genetics that you need and then work on it from there.
Yep. It's always the way to go. Slow and steady wins the race. Just ask the turtle. You're the master of it, mate. You've certainly had some long-term projects over the year, but mate, they've all turned to gold after, you know, all the years of hard work. Certainly some of the pepper stuff, and finally the albino Bredli stuff. You know, that stuff might have took longer than what most people like, but the results speak for themselves. You know, it's insane the stuff that's getting made now because of people's patience and completing the mission. You know. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You look at the albino Bredli project, and you know that was a more of a dig at someone else who couldn't do the job. But you know, hence why it became a bit of a dinker project that I stuck on the shelf and fed. You know, but it's good that you got some and was wise enough to, you know, pump the food into them and breed them. So I kicked myself in the butt for not doing it. You know, see projects like that come to fruition, and you think, oh my God, why didn't I stick to it? You know, like, why didn't I do the same thing? You know, so. But
it just opened so many more doors too. You know, suddenly people think, oh, Bredli, wow, didn't know Bredli could be so cool, mixed into this, that, and everything else, and suddenly, you know, we're out exploring Bredli zebra stuff and Bredli stuff like you're doing into the pepper stuff. You know, I'll do Bredli stuff in the granite stuff. It's just it just causes an onflow effect. In 5 to 10 years' time, we start to see some crazy animals based on a couple of things that really worked well. Otherwise, we may never have gone down those paths.
100%. And, you know, I know in, you know, 10, 15 years ago, we looked to the US for a lot of the stuff because they were like, you know, realistically miles in front with some of the genetic combinations and stuff they had before we even saw them out here.
Yep.
But I think the tables are starting to turn. You know, I'm starting to see some of the stuff we're getting out here, and you know, and Bredli is one of those prime examples. When I did the pairing, which was what the albino Bredli pairing, when was that? That would have been 6 years ago. So how long have you got to remember now?
Probably more. Maybe 6, maybe 7.
Yeah. Well, whatever it was. So I did that. That was the first year. Then the following year, I backed it up with the ghost over bread light.
Yep.
And when I spoke to people over in the US, friends and that I've got over there, oh no,
mate, you were hated.
Oh, no, you don't do that with bread light. I'm like, why not? I said, still really, oh no, bread light, you don't do that with bread light. Like we don't cross anything with bread light. And I remember
can't mix breadly.
I remember talking to Kerry King and Todd Dye about it in particular, and I'm like, man, you're missing out on this, you know. And like I showed him photos of yours, you know, later on down the track, and he's like, no, like it's almost frowned upon. I said, you cross everything else, but you don't cross them, you know. And back in the day, I even remember sending him a photo of an albino ND like years ago. I think it might have been one that Denise had. Yeah. You know, and the same question back those days. Oh no, I said, but look at this stunning animal. You know, once again, it was like, no, I haven't really crossed in that. It was all mutation based.
No, you know? I remember one of those shows we did with Eric Burke.
Yeah,
and they were they didn't want to admit it, but they were sort of saying, "Wow, we missed the boat on Bradley." You know, with suddenly some of the stuff getting made, we've dropped the ball. So, you know, they could have done it long before, but they're starting to realise maybe there's potential in things.
Yeah, particularly when you've got the genetic stripe stuff.
Mr. Husband's come in late. Did you miss show and tell? You certainly did, mate.
Mate, no excuses.
Where were you? Hey?
Jesus, mate.
Jeez.
I always probably got some excuse too, like I was busy doing things.
Mate, we even started late to try and wait for you to show up and everything, and you still missed out, you know?
Yeah, still here anyway, towards the end of it. You have to go back and YouTube it.
So, yeah, absolutely. It'll roll back up. But yeah, anyway, mate, that was a good little catch up. I know we've both been flat out since Christmas. We kind of a couple of those late egg cuts we didn't get done because there was a little bit too much happening after Christmas. But at the expo, it was certainly a cracker. And thanks to everyone who came and bought snakes and said hello. That was
absolutely.
That was.
Introduced themselves to for those we hadn't met before, so that was awesome. Hopefully, do the same down at Illawarra. So
yeah, I can only hope for as many crowds, as many buyers, and hopefully we'll see a lot more breeders there with more animals. There was certainly a few notable exceptions of people selling animals, so hopefully everyone shows up, and it's a huge day for everybody. You know, if there's a lot of people selling, a lot of people buying, good crowds. It's good for the society. It's good for the breeders. It's good for the people who get to show up and actually see a lot of animals. So that was my big concern of that Penrith show was people are going to show up and it's just going to be very little there to see. That people would be almost disappointed in the expo because there wouldn't be much on display. But it seemed like there was a fair bit around still. People managed to pull something out to bring on the day. So.
Yeah, a few display animals. Yeah, Matt Trey stood at my table for a while waiting to pick up some critters. I think I got to say hello and 5 seconds of chat, and he's a freebie for you, sort of thing. And
have that and go.
It was chaos. I hardly got to chat at all to people.
It was.
There's normally a bit of a break in between things to be able to say hello to people and have a bit of a chat. You know what it's like. Normally we'll hang over the fence and, hey, you going? What are you doing? And got much interest and blah, blah, blah. But there was none of that till afternoon.
No, I think once on the whole day I got to give you a finger over the fence.
Yeah.
That was the only interaction we had till 2 o'clock. It was like, wow, normally we get to talk all sorts of rubbish and carry on like lunatics behind the scenes. But
nothing.
It was a little bit too much going on there. So, which is good. It's fantastic, but I still like to get out and about and go and harass some people in the crowd and run around to other people's stands and wreak some havoc, which is always fun.
We do want to do that with the Illawarra show. Hopefully, we'll be aiming to try. We were trying, and I actually said to Brent after show, I said, this morning I was trying to get everything sorted so we could actually do a bit of a quick live Facebook feed to say, hey, we're here, and show around and show what was going on, because there was some crazy stuff there. Like Troy Cooper come all the way down and had Varanus Prasinus, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which is the emerald tree monitor, and you had one there.
Oh my God! Yes, yes,
mate. Like if there was ever a monitor,
everyone off, like everyone in the room to go home drooling. Like the Saturday night when we went there to Expo, just to set up the stands. Yeah. I'm driving home just like, I'm doing it all wrong. Like, what am I doing playing with snakes? I've got the whole world on backwards. Like,
yeah, that thing was absolutely stunning animal, like absolutely gorgeous. And Troy's the top guy. I've known Troy for many years. Absolutely top bloke, and
I don't know him, but I need to.
Yeah. Oh, mate, he's a legend. Like, been around our game for a long, long time and knows a lot of people, knows a lot of guys. It's always good to catch up and have a chat. But yeah, that animal was spectacular. So, looking forward to the Illawarra show. So we'll be doing our raffle again for those that come along. We will be changing the rules slightly though. It will be a one winner.
One winner per
item,
per prize.
Yeah, per prize. So,
what are the chances that the same guy wins both prizes? After I don't know how many tickets are in there. A lot more than I thought in the end. I think there must have been 150 or 200 tickets. Like, it was crazy, but yeah, to have one person win both prizes, which is cool. You buy 2 raffle tickets. You're in the draw twice. You win twice. It's like winning Powerball Division 1, Division 2. I suppose it can be done, but it's just not normal. But
yeah. So we'll change that. We will be looking at doing a couple of different things. So we're going to do it again. So if you come down, see us. I mean, like, buy a snake on the day and pre-order it or whatever, and come and grab it from us, whatever. We'll go in. We'll draw it earlier, I think, so that way people are still there. So it was the first time for us. Just give it a go, just for something different, Give people a chance. Like, there's a lot of people that come along buying their first and second snake or something new, and we try to make it something that we're happy to give away. So we've got a few ideas, and come closer, you'll have to come down and see us and find out what it is.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who hung around, because we sort of said 3 o'clock we'd draw that, and I was surprised that there was a lot of people hanging around for the draws. Like you say, we'll try and do a 2 o'clock or something for the next expo, but we couldn't have done it much earlier than that. That expo was insane until probably 12:30, 1 o'clock, so we didn't really have much time earlier. But I think we'll do a 2 o'clock, and maybe we'll do a 2 o'clock sale. Draw out the prize winner from the raffle, and then we'll try and throw on a 2 o'clock special for half hour. We'll smash some prices or something and do something nuts to try and keep the crowd happy.
Yeah, that's it. Share the love. Who knows what it'll be, but bought a snake and a raffle ticket. Might have something else going on. Yeah. So it's funny.
Hello, Mace. Straight out to Mace, my number 1 fan. Mate, I've only got 1 fan. I'm glad someone recognises me.
Yeah, 1 fan, and the other one's an air conditioner. That joke.
You're funny, mate. Hi, Jennifer. This is. I'd like to say this is courtesy of Darren Whittaker, but unfortunately, I drank that one a little while ago. So
jeez, that was pretty
the Baileys and Kahlua mix, that one with a little bit of milk, because I can't drink soft drink anymore. It does not sit well with me. So
it's actually Brent's fault that I have to drink mine out of this Venom cup from the movies, or else I drink it too fast. So it's his fault. I was not drinking alcohol at all, because I used to drink way too much. But now,
have you got a little sippy straw that goes in that so you don't spill it, mate?
I do, but that's normally after the second or third one.
Keep it under control.
Yeah, that's it. Just one every now and then. It's enough. That's a big enough cup. There's several beers in there.
So, very nice.
Anyway, so look forward. When is the show actually?
8th of May.
8th of May, that's right. So
8th of May should be good, mate. I can't wait. It's always, for me, Wollongong's always been a really good day, although I think the crowd's probably a little smaller than the Sydney Expo or the Penrith Expo.
Will be interesting, because they have not had a show down there for quite a while.
Well, they missed last year. COVID knocked them out totally. We were right in lockdown when their show should have went up. Can you shut up your tinging, whatever it is? It's got to be you. It is not me.
No, it's definitely me. It's there we go. I'm just.
Oh my god! Bloody rookie hour down there at Whittaker's.
It's a private fishing group. I'm with a few mates, and they're away on the camp. And at this time of night now, the beers are probably well and truly flowing, and it's all these drunk messages going bing bing, and I'm like,
just don't screen share anything that's coming out of that chat.
No, No, you don't want to see anything that comes out of that chat. But yeah, no, there's all sorts of stuff goes in there. Good bunch of blokes, but yeah.
Yes, it's these.
But anyway,
So yeah, that 8th of May, that
Yeah.
that one should be the big one. Hopefully, let's hope that. I remember we had a really good expo when they did an August one a couple of years ago in Wollongong, 2 or 3 years ago. That was a fantastic show.
Yep.
I only hope that I've always found a Wollongong show, like I was saying, they're not quite as big crowds. But I don't think I don't know what the numbers are exactly. It didn't feel like it was as many people, but more buyers. I always found the people that come to Wollongong are armed and ready. They know what they want. They come in and swoop and grab what they want early. It's always been a good sales show.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's different with down there is the halls and the size is bigger, and I think it's more spread out. So when you look at
when they run the 2 halls for commercial and breeders,
2 halls, whereas when you look at the horse run, it's one court. When they first went
to
there, they had 2, and then they shrunk it down into the one room of, I don't know, what is it, 2 basketball courts or something or other, I think, in that room or whatever it is. And that's it. So that squished everything in a bit more. So obviously the crowd's more densely packed. So it would be an interesting comparison to actually know numbers through the door. That would be interesting.
Interesting. I think the Penrith one almost felt too crammed this year. Was at times, certainly in the case if you look at COVID, spacings, there was none of that going on. It was a little bit too packed, and there was some bloke on a guitar behind us strumming away a couple of times, deafening my eardrums, and everything was a little bit packed in tight, which is good. Like it feels like it's all happening and pumping. It's but sometimes spaced out more. It gets people a little bit more room to move.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. They always put on a good show down there as well. It's nice, and not having had many, I imagine it's going to be pretty busy. I think there's a few more people going as well. To sell, being later on in the year, more people are going to have more hatchies ready. So definitely. More people will be there trying to offload some stuff. So should be
also get a show back to Newcastle. Central Coast Herbs. I know they were updating or renovating that girls' grammar school that they had that hall in. We missed it for 1 year, and then the following year was COVID.
Yep, I haven't had one since.
No. I don't know if that was COVID 2020 and then 21 COVID again. I don't think 3 years. I don't think we've had a Central Coast show, have we?
Yeah, it hasn't been for a while. So I kind of miss them. There used to be the Newcastle one, the Central Coast one, then you had the Hawkesbury Hertz one, then you had the Illawarra one, then you had Mac Herps one as well, then you had the Port Mac one as well.
Yep, Port Mac was sadly fizzled out.
Yeah, unfortunately up there. I mean, it was good. I really enjoyed going up to those. I don't think I made it to the last one. I think it was just I think I had lack of stuff to sell at that point in time. But I've spoken to you before, Brent. Dave Raptor, myself. Yourself been up there a few times, and it was nice. We used to go there for 3 or 4 days, just get away and sell some animals and pay for a little bit of a break, a few days off, and have a bit of a chill and relax, a couple of quiet beers, and it was
beautiful part of the world.
Oh, it's beautiful up there. It was always nice to get out there. But it'd be good to see the Newcastle one was good at the Jockey Club there. That was always a good show. That always did well. I think because you got that, the Newcastle City up there, and then you get more people coming down from that little bit further north, up like Port Mac as far as there, and
brings in good crowds from around.
Yeah, crowds having that, those decent distance away from Sydney itself is always a good thing. So.
Yep, Anthony's saying if I was there, could I buy and bring back to SA at the same time? You certainly can. I've had people buy things at expos for interstate. Technically, you do need to do an import license to take it back home before you fly home, and same with the person selling to you needs to do an export permit to get it out of New South Wales, but certainly can be bought on the day. If you are flying out that night, you're going to have to be fairly quick. I know New South Wales can be done online. Everything's at a cost for us poor New South Wales people, $27 for an export permit. It can be done very fast to get it done if someone is flying out. But I know other states, certainly SA, I think Victoria and Queensland are the same. You can do them for free, and I know many people that have done exactly that. Come to an expo, done a import permit for 10 snags, and if you buy none, that's cool because they're free. Who cares? If you buy 2, then you just complete the paperwork on the 2, take them home and job done. So certainly much easier to get done.
Yeah,
from interstate.
Matt Lavery's in the house. Hey, Matt, hope you're doing well, buddy. So you're saying South SA import permits take a few days, mate. Up here, import permits could take anything up to 6 weeks at one point in time.
They're pretty good now.
Yeah, they are good. They're online now, and it's almost instant. Whereas, you know, I remember years ago, you do your permits for the day you were doing the freight, and you would just send the animals. Like, you would just freight the animals, and then your permit would come, oh, yeah, it's approved. And it's like we get a 1 month block. So say 1st of June to the 30th of June when you can ship the animals. And often you'd have that block for, you know, let's say the 15th of June to send the animals. And the 17th of June, they'd send you the approval of your block of time to send the animals. So they've already missed like 2 weeks of the month. And it's like, oh, here you go. It's like, animals went last week. Here's the approval. Well, I hope it's much better now.
I don't know why we can't have a national system. It'd be ridiculous to believe we could have all states talk to each other and, you know, transfer things off, you know. So we're starting to see now a few people commenting about, stuff's free for 28 days, and, you know, some of the problems, you know, I guess if you're flying in to go to an expo, maybe you got to stay for an extra couple of days and do a permit. I guess if you had to fly home, if you still did the permit, I don't think, you know, any of the authorities could be that upset with you if you completed the permit the day after or 2 days after you got home. You still did the paperwork, but, you know, if they don't have the system to enable you to do the transaction, you know, in time, that's their problem. You know, they need to be a little bit more into the world of technology. You know, you can do anything online instantly all over the place for so many things. Why should be getting a permit any different, you know?
100%. It should be simple. It should be instantaneous. You know, it really should. The system we have in New South Wales is so. It is. I do not understand why they've got an online electronic system that cannot talk to each other. You know, like I sell Brent a snake, and it's his first snake, and Brent goes home and goes, I'm so excited, and jumps on the thing and puts in my details, bought from Darren Whitaker and AKL, blah blah blah, and licensed and suburb, and I go, another one sold. I'll do it next week when I got time to, you know, got all the animals to put back away. Yep. Theoretically, I should be able to jump on the site to go, okay, I'm going to update all my paperwork now. And I should be able to, it should have almost there, like Brent Smith has said, you sold these snakes. Yes, no.
Confirm.
Confirm. Yes, confirm, you know. So
link transaction
sort of thing, but it doesn't. So, you know, you put it in and it just doesn't work that way. So, like, I don't understand why. Same with approvals. You want to freight something out, it should just go, who wants to freight it? Darren Whitaker. His license all up to date. It's all good. Here's your permit straight away. Yeah.
That's the frustrating part I find with freight. The paperwork is just ridiculous that you've got to now go through a freight booking agent. So you send them all the details to book a flight. They send it back to you, send to the buyer. We booked on this flight this time. Then you've got to do an expert permit, put in all those details of the buyer. They have to do an import permit, all the details of the seller. Then you still have to go, even though you've done all that through services, then you need to go in and transfer the animal, put in all the details again to say, yes, I'm transferring this animal to that buyer. You know, like nothing's synced up. You know, it's 3 lots of identical paperwork to freight, you know, to export and to transfer the animal. You know, it's so much time. Now, if you're doing 8 or 10 animals, you can spend 6 hours online to get everything done paperwork-wise that you need to do it right. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It is. On top of New South Wales, $27.11 to do the stupid bit of paperwork as it is. Like,
yep, that's exactly right. Painful. And then obviously you tack onto that the whole freighting issue as well. Like if you're dealing like yourself, Brent. I mean, I use first class pet transport just because I find it more convenient. But you know, if you want to go do it through Qantas Freight like you've done, we were talking about this the other day. You've got to get another company to do it all for you, organise it all, because they don't want to deal with you. But then you still got to go to the airport and drop the animals off anyway. What's the difference? Yeah. What is the difference? Like
someone pressing the buttons twice is the difference instead of once. That's all it is.
Yeah, you know, like just I don't know. Anyway, it's a whole nother topic for another day, I guess.
Anyway, that was a pretty good recap, mate. It was a great expo. Looking forward to the next one. If people want to find you, Mr. Morelia by Design, you would be online everywhere, I imagine.
Yeah, Morelia by Design on Facebook, Instagram, and obviously we got a YouTube channel there, and obviously my own page, Dan Whitaker. And where will they find you, Mr. Smith?
KHP Reptiles Facebook. Most people get me there or through Messenger, Brent Smith. Also the website there, khpreptiles.com.au. YouTube finally working after some painful days and crying. And I have Instagram and I have TikTok too. My wife's one keen to pursue the TikTok a little more.
Yeah, I was looking at that the other day myself, actually. So
yeah, it's where it's at. You've got the right sort of content, some entertaining stuff. My wife got bit by a lacy the other day. I wanted to TikTok that. I thought that would have been unreal. So,
particularly if a finger came off or something like that. It was like blood squirting everywhere.
So much blood for a little bite. It wasn't a savage bite, but you try and throw eggs to lacies when they're hungry, then guess what? Bad things happen. She got the egg, just got the side of the finger at the same time. So the beautiful new kitchen was covered in all streams of blood everywhere. It was very much a great blood trail to the kitchen. So a little bit of excitement. So TikTok would have loved it, but probably would have got banned.
First TikTok and banned.
And get out. Anyway.
Fun time.
Well, thanks for everyone who dropped in. Both to the expo and tonight for the catch-up. Me and Dad's got plans to do a few more shows, a bit more live show and tell. So it seemed like people enjoyed it tonight. So
the aim is to try to get them regularly, probably once a fortnight, I guess, at this point in time. We'll try and see how we go and talk about all sorts of stuff, get some guests in and, do a few other bits and pieces. And
people are sick of looking at our ugly heads, so we'll get some other ugly heads in and share the load a bit.
3 ugly heads or 4 ugly heads, who knows?
Who knows? But certainly some of those topics too, mate. There's different topics on quarantining and different things on viruses. We'll get some other people who like you say, does the resident experts, and not just the hearsay. I said my friend heard this on Facebook and they've got 12 snakes. They know everything. So we'll get the actual facts, 100%. From people, the latest information. So we'll hope to bring you some decent content through the year.
Yep, certainly will. Alrighty. Thanks from me. Thanks from him.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.